everyone! So in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make a zodiac celestial type tapestry for your room. I had a blank space on my wall above my bed, and so I decided that it would be really neat if I made a tapestry to go above there, and I was inspired by several things. Pinterest, some other YouTubers that have been doing some zodiac type deals, and also Nancy Drew. I don't know if you know this about me, you might, but I love Nancy Drew and I love the Nancy Drew games in particular, and I was inspired by Curse of Blackmore Manor because they have like all this, it's really hard to explain, it's like all this like medieval, they got like some zodiac, some tapestries, some like, it's really awesome in there, so I just thought, yeah, that's what I need for above my bed. That's what I need. It can be kind of tedious. It takes a little while, but I really like it. I like projects that take a little time, and that you can like really, you can work on it. I finished mine in about a day though, so I mean, that's just because I'm impatient and I wanted to get it done. And you can do this any way you want. This is just kind of the design style I went with. But you can look up different ideas and you can just totally go your own way. You don't even have to do zodiac. You can do whatever you want. Without further ado, let's just get right into the tutorial. Alright, so to begin with, you're going to take your piece of fabric that you want to cover your wall as big as you want, and you're going to fold down about an inch and sew across, and this will be a casing for later. And when you're finished, go ahead and iron all your fabric out so it's easier to draw on. So I made this little sketch of what I wanted it to look like, and I found lots of images on Google and Pinterest. So to start off with, I'm just making a straight line all the way around the edge of the fabric, and this will be the outer border. Don't worry about the fraying, we'll take care of that later. The fabric I use is actually an old sheet, so you can use whatever you want. I think a heavy fabric would be nice for this, but this worked perfectly fine. So next I just took the ruler I was using, which is 3 inches wide, and I just made a second line all the way around. So that's going to be the inner border. Next, you're going to find the middle and get something medium-sized and round. I found this glass thing in my room, and I just put it in the middle and trace around it to get a perfect circle. Next, you're going to make 8 evenly spaced markings on the circle. And from these 8 markings, I drew 8 sunbeams. Just freehanded them, but you can use a ruler if you like. And if you mess up, it's okay because it's just chalk and it'll always wipe off. Next, I took a small container of glue and drew 8 circles in between the sunbeams. And these are going to be the moons in the different phases. Next, I just took my chalk and drew in the different phases of the moon, starting with new, which would be nothing, and then quarter, half, 3/4, and then the full moon. Next, I took this bigger Mod Podge container and traced 12 circles around the outside of the sun, and these are going to be the zodiac symbols. Next, I just trace the different zodiac symbols in each circle. Then move on to the border. And around the border, I did stars and crescent moons. So again, I just used my Mod Podge container again to get that circular edge for the crescent moons. And I just freehanded the stars. And don't worry about the lines inside of the stars, we'll paint those in later. Alright, so to start painting, I just wiped off all the residue of the chalk, and then I began with some yellow, and I painted the inner circle of the sun. You can put as few or as many coats as you want on this. I did 2 on the circle, and then I just did 1, I think, on everything else, basically, except for the moons. And it gives it kind of like that old feel to it, because it's kind of faded. But you can put more on if you want. Then I went to the sunbeams. And then for the inner circle, I actually took some gold paint and kind of shaded in one side of the sun, give it a little bit of dimension. Next, I started painting the moons with a silver paint. I later had to go over it with a darker silver paint because these didn't show up very well. I used paint to trace the outlines of the whole circle, and then I just filled in the phase. Next, I moved on with a gray to the zodiac symbols, and I just painted around the chalk I drew. And then later you can take a damp washcloth and wipe away the chalk, and then you'll have just the blue background underneath. Next, I painted the very outer border, and if you paint all the way to the edge, it'll take care of the fraying. You can just cut the fray off, and then it won't fray anymore because the paint will hold it together. Next, I moved on to the inner border with a thin paintbrush, and then I painted the stars and the moons. I didn't film this part because I knew you guys were probably getting tired of watching me paint, but you get the idea. And then I just put some different colored dots on either side of the sun. So I did some gold, some silver, some white. They're different colors, different sizes, to represent stars. And it just kind of gave it something extra. Now when this isn't completely dry, take the casing you made earlier. Make sure it can open up. Hopefully the paint didn't stick it together. Mine didn't. Take a branch you got from outside and feed it through the casing. wiggle it around and adjust it until you have it how you like it. Next, I took some string I found, and I just wrapped it around one end a few times, just to keep it secure. So just wrapped a few times, and then tied a double knot. And then you can just trim off the excess. And then, so bring the string over to the other side and do the same thing. Just wrap and tie the other side. And then you'll have your string to be able to hang it with. And you're finished. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you do make this or anything from my previous tutorials, go ahead and post a picture on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag PHERYLO so I can see it and like it and comment. I actually had a couple people this last week or so put pictures on Instagram, and I was so excited. There were mermaid ones. One was in the middle of making the mermaid tail, and the second one was this mother made one for her daughter, and it was so cute. So it was like her daughter posing by the pool in her mermaid tail, and it was so cute and it made me so happy. If you ever make anything, tag me in it because I want to see it. It makes me so happy. I'm so proud of you guys. I hope you like this. If you have any requests for future tutorials or just videos in general, just leave me a comment down below or on any of my social media sites, which are listed in the description box. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up because that's greatly appreciated. If you'd like to see more from me, such as tutorials or other videos that I made, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm getting closer to 1,000 and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I will catch you guys later. Bye!